Okay. Hello. Alright, I should just make this quick because I unfortunately had to work in an hour. Or that's when they're supposed to send me my first topic, is what they're supposed to do. I'm taking a little bit of a playbook from Mr. Gigi, obviously. No, it's a little bit of Noel and Mr. Gigi. Hi, Sailor T. I can't really sit down after watching the movie that I just saw, and I'm thinking that this is like the way lazier way of just recording a YouTube video because Noel does it. And he stands and he does his little pacing and he makes his little comments, and I'm not as funny as Noel, unfortunately. Anybody can ask Sailor T. I'm truly not that funny, but the shit was wild. Now, picture this. You're me, okay? You're pretty much a slob, and the only TV show that you're happy watching is an animated adult TV show around a family that makes burgers. Yeah? Everybody following so far? But they don't have it on Netflix anymore without commercials. What are you gonna do? You watch it on Hulu. And unfortunately, the Hulu plan that you have that includes live TV does not take away commercials for the old TV shows. And that's fine. So you start seeing all these commercials, right? And these commercials kind of fucking boring. Why? You don't have enough money to buy a car? Sure. Uh you don't need to buy a new laptop, even though technically you should, because your laptop is absolute shit at this point. What else have I been? You ain't got no kids. Oh, it's about to get way worse. You ain't got no kids. Um, you're not really interested in buying like a washing machine or any shit like that. And you don't know what the ad preference thinks you are, but your general consensus is that you are a 35-year-old, like a middle-aged white man in like upper middle class, so you can buy the new Buick that has like 16 bag holders and a wireless charging pad in the console of the car. Whatever, it's stupid. None of those are of interest to you, but Hulu also likes to. Oh, thank you for the follow, foregathers. But Hulu also really likes to show like some of their exclusive Hulu original TV shows on their commercials. So imagine your surprise after watching all of Broad City, and you liked Broad City. Why? Because it wasn't male comedians joking about their dick for about an hour and a half. And you're like, damn, I've always wanted to live in New York. We're not going to get into that tangent. Why would we? And one of the girls from Broad City is in a new Hulu original movie. That sounds great. Why? You like Alana Glazer. She is pretty funny. I don't think I've ever seen her do original work other than Broad City. And I'm sure that her personality matches up with the Alana that's in Broad City. She's done like, what was that shitty movie with she did that bad like bridesmaids movie or whatever, where they like get into some shit down in Florida. It's, first off, very boring. Secondly, not funny at all. Like 0% funny. Like, woof. Was that the one? Yeah, that was the one that had Zoe. Is her name Zoe Kravitz? Yeah, Zoe Kravitz in it too. And I was like, what the fuck is this? So, anyways, we're not getting into that anymore. I haven't seen her stand up. I just I guess I like resonated because I was like, that's Alana Glazer, and I really liked Broad City, hands down. I know that's not good, like that's not cool or anything like that. Like a lot of people are like, man, Broad City's not that. Blah 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 blah. We're not gonna get into that. But you sit down and you're finally like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch this movie because guess who else is in that movie? Justin Theroux. I don't know if anybody else knows who Justin Theroux is. He was in Sex and the City for a little bit. He was probably one of my favorite boyfriends that Carrie had, other than Adrian, and which is funny because in the movie his name is Adrian. But Justin Theroux is in that, and Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan. Fucking James Bond is in this movie. So it has to be good, right? Like, it has to be really good. And this is where the Noel Miller stand-up becomes very fitting because he has covered a similar topic of this caliber before on his YouTube channel. I'm sure he covered it in the stream as well. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I'm just gonna, like, give everybody like the good enough leeway time. I'll give you like a minute. If you were listening to this for an entire minute and you are just now hearing this spoiler alert, this is a spoiler alert. I am about to spoil a lot of this movie. If you ever planned on watching it, if you saw it, thought that it looked good, if you even think about like turning it on to like play it in the background, I'm about to spoil the shit out of this movie. So I'll give you a minute from right when I said that warning. Starting, I guess I'm starting now, so. While I'm waiting for this spoiler alert warning to roll out, let me also just say, like, I've been seeing this a lot lately, and I can't stand it. I cannot. That was the main reason why I decided that I wanted to stand up today, because I can't sit down and talk about stuff like this. People who are under the age, you know what, I'll even say 20. I don't want to say 18. Because yes, I know that you're an adult in, you know, the United States and other parts of the world and all that other stuff. But you are not at the same maturity level as me, okay? Under the age of 20. And yeah, 20-year-olds are still, like, really immature. I'm 25. And I hate, I'm saying this, like, so calmly as possible, I cannot stand when underage people think that they're going to act grown. There is a TikTok account that I follow, and they have been having a hell of a lot of issues with underage people, you know, minors and stuff, not respecting their boundaries because they set hard boundaries on, like, hey, don't comment on my 18 plus stuff, please. And, you know, don't be in my DMs asking for stuff. Don't offer, you know, any of that not safe for work shit because you are a child. And anybody who I see doing any of that will get the block. And it's not for the fact that, like, we know that that person's not going to go out and hurt somebody underage. That's the hope. That's the prayer. It's the fact that if one of the actual bad people sees a underage, like a minor, doing that, underage minor, doing that, that's just like, it's targeting. You will be targeted. There is a strong possibility that you will be targeted by a bad person, and bad things could happen. And another thing, this is on that same tangent, you do not need to know personal shit. You just don't. I had to block, and they were a pretty nice kid, I will say that. Them and their friends came over for a stream when I did Life is Strange. Really nice kids. Um, happy to talk to them. They can talk in chat. It's fine. You're not spamming the chat. That's fine. Please don't ask personal questions. Don't ask personal questions like, are you single? And, that's what one of them asked. And I had to block them because of that. That made me uncomfortable. You coming up in my stream while I'm trying to do cosplay makeup, and you decide that you want to ask if I'm single when the next question that you asked was, do you think anybody would date me? I don't know you. Also, I don't care. I don't. And you shouldn't care about what I got going on in my personal life. This right here, this interaction that we're having right now, where I'm talking into the camera and I'm talking directly to you in this stream, that's the extent of our interaction. Okay? Way out of line. You're absolutely right, Sailor T. You can't come up and you can't come up and I can't speak. You can't come on to Twitch and thinking you're going to find an adult friend who's fun and cool, because that never happens. You will not find a stranger who was, I am 25 years old. They said that they were 14. At the very least 11 years older than you, thinking that they're going to be like, what am I, your mentor? I should be nobody's mentor. I should be a mentor to like 2 people, maybe 3. Depends. But I don't set any good examples outside of going to school, graduating, and keeping jobs. Anyways, just wanted to put that out there because that was bothering me for a really long time. When was the last time that I streamed? When I did my Dobby makeup in my My Hero Academia game? That was over a week ago. Yeah, it was stewing with me for a week because I was that pressed about it. I was like, who the hell? And it's like they don't stop. They think that boundaries don't apply to them. They can say that they are mature enough to be allowed to do these things. If you were mature enough in the first place, you would respect boundaries. And we would not be having this conversation. Moving on. I'm not going to get stuck on chastising underage people because they don't like to listen to simple rules. So this movie, right? It's called False Positive, if you haven't already gained that from the title. And this movie, I think it was like an hour and a half long, whatever. This movie was a fucking whirlwind. And if you don't believe me, who do you think produced this film? I will give you 30 seconds to guess who produced this film, right? And, I won't even give you, like, options. I'll just let you think and figure this out. Because this shit, as soon as I tell you, you'll be like, yeah. Oh, I 100% believe it. Because there's no such thing as a normal movie coming out of that production company. Hold on. Are you licking again? Stop it. Don't mind me. Alright. Did you figure it out yet? Alright. I won't let you rack your brain anymore. I'll just tell you. It's A24. And if you don't remember A24 films, might I suggest, was it Midsommar? Is that how you say that? Or, better yet, how about Hereditary? So you know that this is not a normal, oh, look at this. It is wild. Now, I said earlier in the stream, it's fine. You would have gotten there. I know you would have. Earlier, like a few minutes earlier, that I said that this is more like a Noel stand-up than you would ever thought. Amen. I do too. I really genuinely enjoy a lot of A24 films. Their cinematography, their color theory is very beautiful. It's all very captivating and creepy at the same time. Has anybody seen have you seen the stream? Not the stream. The video where Noel talks about fertility clinics or like the fertility doctors with like the whole fertility scams and stuff. This shit is that. False positive is absolutely that. And what's the scary part of this entire movie is that it 100% happens. It's happened, it continues to happen, and everybody seems like I don't know what the law on that shit is or whatever. It's apparently like really murkier or something like that. That's why all of these doctors haven't been convicted of the big ol' essay. It's a lot, okay? Well, our main character, her name is Lucy, played by Alana Glazer. And then Justin Theroux is her husband. His name is Adrian. And apparently they've been having like a lot of troubles trying to get pregnant for a really long time. And so they decide that they're going to go to this fertility clinic that Adrian is friends with the main doctor. Right? And first glance, as soon as I walk into this fertility clinic, and I was telling my mother, who sat through this entirety of the film, for better or worse, I think that at some point she was just like losing her mind thinking about the possibility of this being true because she works in a women's clinic. I was like, this seems like a eugenics farm. Like full on. And I say that because every employee in there, white, blonde, blue-eyed woman. Wearing the same exact dress. Doesn't even have a problem with it. I didn't see one woman wearing pants. I didn't see another doctor up in that bitch that was a female. Didn't see a single black person. Didn't see another doctor at all. It was all these freaking women, right? All these freaking blonde, blue-eyed, white women. And then Pierce Bronson, which oh, I like Pierce Bronson. Was he one of the dads from Mamma Mia? Computer. Was Pierce Bronson in Mamma Mia?
Yes. Pierce Brosnan is in the cast of Mamma Mia.
So this man came out of retirement a second time because he was in both Mamma Mias, if I'm correct. From singing and dancing, having himself a grand old time, being a possible baby daddy, to being a full-on confirmed serial baby daddy. What is it? What did SVU call it? A serial reproductive abuser. Has anybody seen that John Stamos episode of SVU? This is basically that, where he like greets him, brings him in for some false hope, and being like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll definitely get you a baby and all that other stuff. Yeah, we got you. We don't know what it is. We'll figure it out. You know." And all of a sudden, I'm like, there's too many people around her Vahugans, like her downstairs parts. People are walking in from the outside. Doors aren't locked. Her legs spread open to the breeze. Like, too many people just staring down at her vagina. And they go there twice, I think, to like the first is the consultation, the second is the treatment, which is a big ass fucking needle that goes up her vagina. And then she goes back a third time, and she is greeted with the news of, hey, it happened. You're good. You know, Pierce Bronson is apparently a godsend at this point because he decided, he got her pregnant or whatever with the husband's sperm. I don't know. It goes up her vagina. And I don't know how many of these words I can actually say on Twitch, but I'm gonna try and say as many as possible. Without getting flagged, I guess. But yeah, so with the combination of Adrian's baby batter, that sounds so much worse, and Alana, I'm just gonna call her Alana. I'm not gonna call her Lucy. Alana. Oh my God, you're pregnant. That's so great. And then immediately everything goes downhill. Not only is she pregnant, she's pregnant with 3 babies. 3 of them. 3. One is a gestational sac with twins, like the male twins, right? And then one is a singular female baby. And like before she found out like all of this shit was going on, she was talking to her husband, being like, "Oh my God, you know what I want?" Like they're already coming up with baby names, and I think she's right around the 12-week mark or something like that. She's like, "I like the name Wendy." And what's funny is that she said she liked the name Wendy with the double pigtail braids, like the Wendy's mascot. I pointed that out. I couldn't help but point that out because every single time that Alana went to bed and woke up in the morning, double pigtail braids. Like she's a child. It gets. So, oh my God. So they're like, okay, fine. You got 3 babies. Well, we don't know if you can handle carrying all 3 of these babies, and at some point it's a possibility that bad things can happen to these babies. Not gonna get into a lot of logistics there, but basically what they say is, hey, you gotta choose which one of these fetal sacs, whatever, that you want to keep. And quite obviously, if you haven't remembered from her backstory like a minute ago. Alana really wants to keep the baby, the girl baby. I shouldn't keep saying baby. Literally, they're fetuses at this point. I think they had heartbeats at that time. Whatever. They're not out yet. They're fetuses. They can't flip me off in the womb. They're fetuses. Okay. Ooh, sorry, but so she says that she wants the girl baby, obviously, because she really wants Wendy. And later on, she like comes out and says that she wanted to bring Wendy into the world because she lost her mom like a couple of years before, and she was like, I just want to project all of that guilt of losing my mother onto this baby, which is not something you want to admit before you have children. Like, why would you ever admit that? This is I have so many expectations for you, child that hasn't even been born yet. And so this movie keeps going, and she starts seeing shit, she starts hearing shit, and basically the whole movie, everybody else in this movie is just gaslighting the shit out of her. They're like, oh, honey, you've got mommy brain. Like, you don't know what you're saying. You were already here. Like, this and this happened. And she's like, I am not. I know what's going on. There's something wrong. And she joins this mommy group. Turns out this entire mommy group is, like, on the fertility doctor's side. And the more that she tries to, like, reach out for more people, the more he, like, brings in and clutches, bring them into a circle, making her think that she's lost her mind. At some point, my mom like, almost flew off the couch at this point. She has, like, a very vivid dream of her husband Adrian going to a hotel. I almost said hospital. Going to a hotel and meeting up with the doctor, fertility doctor. I'm just gonna call him Pierce. His name is John Hindle in the movie. It's stupid. I'm sure that it's almost based on a true story, because that sounds like a name of a fertility doctor. But Adrian meets up with John Hindle in this hotel room, and they end up making out furiously. Like, so furiously, like, it was more like they stood there for a second, and you know how you have that moment of, like, are they about to do what I think they're gonna do? Because they're kind of, like, suspended in the air, like they're about to go in for a hug, but the tension says everything different. Like, the tension says, this is not a hug. This is something else. Like, but, and it goes exactly where you think it goes. Furiously making out. And she stood in this closet watching this happen. And then John sits Adrian down on the edge of this bed and it's like, here, have some goo. What is my life? Anyways, I'm getting off track here. The entirety of this movie, they gaslight the shit out of her. She's still, like, so adamant. Like, she had a horrible dream when they were having this reduction surgery, and she still thought that she was gonna have Grace instead of the twins at the end of this movie, because that's all that's leading up to, is her giving birth to this baby. Which is weird, because I know that this is, like, her first pregnancy, but if you're pregnant for the first time, you've had to been around, like, other pregnant people, right? Like, she was in a mommy group, right? And in this mommy group, there were some of these ladies that were only pregnant with one. So why did she think that she was pregnant with one when her belly is like twice the size of everybody else's? But they basically told her not to question it. Like, don't even worry about it, honey. You've got mommy brain. Which, after that movie, has made me hate that phrase. Like, don't. Basically, you're like, oh, she's not all there, is she? Boom. The thing that you think happens, happens. She has the babies. And I say babies because she ends up having the twin boys and not the girl. Hey, but why? What do you mean, but why? Hold on, let me let me stop my review for a second to figure out what. uh, hey, but why? Why what? You know you can text it to me if you if you really want to know faster because I know that there's a delay going on. Can I turn this? I'm gonna look real pink up in this. Yeah, I don't like how that drowned my face out. Anyways. Oh, because I don't. I think that they were just like, yeah, we're gonna keep gaslighting this person because we really need like he's obsessed with babies apparently. Like this dude is just obsessed with babies, and I don't know why everybody else was like on board because well, I know why some of the women were on board, not his workers, because his workers are like super loyal. I'm guessing they're like his daughters at some point or something like that. It's gross. I don't even want to get into that thought process, but I know that all of the women that are around Alana that are pregnant by this fertility doctor. And when I say pregnant by this fertility doctor, I mean they're literally injected with this fertility doctor's sperm. Not their husbands, the fertility doctor, without their consent, and he's running a eugenics lab. That's basically what he's running out of his fertility clinic is a eugenics lab. Because what is he? A blonde hair, not blonde anymore. I don't think Pierce Brosnan was ever blonde. Computer, what color is Pierce Brosnan's hair?
Here's something I found on the web. According to popculture.com, she followed that with a pair of photos that showed off her new accessory as well as her freshly colored hair, which is now a very pastel purpley pink.
That didn't answer my question at all. Pierce Brosnan, if I'm remembering correctly, from the James Bond movies, he is a brunette. But he is getting on in his age, right? He's getting on up there. He's looking like Zaddy. You know, got all that salt and pepper. Mostly salt. Little less pepper. And, I guess you could mistake him as being a blonde if you've never seen a young Pierce Brosnan photo. But yeah, he's obsessed with carrying on his lineage. And I caught on to that. So early in the film because what does he say? If I can remember the exact, he said, he referenced to like this wall of photos and he's like, yeah, all of these mothers, all these moms, I've sent home with babies. Right? And then, what is the other thing that he says? He says a lot of like, really like deep-seated shit. Like, if you weren't paying attention, if you were watching this in the background, it would slip right over your head. Like, you wouldn't get what he's actually doing until it's too late, right? Until you're like right on the 15-minute mark before the movie ends, and he's like, oh, yes. These. And he shows you like the giant fridge filled with all of his sperm. That's a lot. It's a lot. She knocks that shit over, by the way. and it like oozes out. And I was like, "Ooh, look, Krispy Kreme icing." It's disgusting. It's nasty. So she has these twins, these stupid fucking twins. No offense to those babies, they were great actors. They did a great job. But she's pissed because she has the first baby at this midwife because she didn't want to be associated with John anymore. Really cultish looking stuff. Like, you think about Midsommar, but think of Midsommar if, like, Danny was pregnant. And they were like, "Oh, Danny, like, we're a tribe of midwives and we're all here to protect you against your cheating ass boyfriend," and all that other stuff. But so she has the first baby at this midwife, who is a black lady. And I don't know if you ever think about midwives, baby actors, award winning, they were really on cue with the crying. That's it. That's all I had to do was cry. Literally, I think that this movie alone, like the last 25 minutes of it, might be like a PSA for like, hey, like, maybe not, like, but what was I saying? So she's at this midwife, and I'm not going to ask you to guess the race of this midwife because I feel like you already know. Along with that, I'm not going to ask you how you think that this midwife's office or like studio apartment, I don't really know. I don't live in New York. I don't know what the difference between the two is. I'm not going to ask you what her space, how about I say that, is decorated as. I'm going to let you like infer a lot of that because Dr. John gets one of his creepy Stepford Wives nurses to track Alana down to get a newspaper, a magazine back that had the midwife on it, and he said, "This is a bunch of voodoo shit. Do with that what you will." So she does that, right? Has one baby. Lady's like, "I can't help you. You're really bleeding. Like, you got to go to the ER." And tell her that she's got a lot of pregnancy mumbo jumbo. I turned to my mom. I'm like, "Is that a real thing?" She's like, "Yeah. It's like the thing, the afterbirth thing is going like," and and it can cause infertility after all of the birthing is done. So she has to go to the ER. She goes to the ER. She has the second baby. And guess who is there to deliver that second baby? The fucking fertility doctor with all of his freaking Stepford wife nurses. They are creepy as hell, dude. If you've ever seen Stepford Wives, you know exactly what I'm talking about because they're all like, oh, I just cricked my own neck. They're literally like, "Can I get you anything else? Can I get you anything else?" Crazy. Baby actors, Stepford Wife robot actors. Put that on the list. Award-winning baby actors, Stepford Wife robot actors. So they deliver these babies. And immediately, Alana is pissed, as she should be, because she said explicitly that she wanted the girl. And it makes me think about how many women this had to happen to beforehand. Like, this couldn't have been like a once in a lifetime occurrence. Like, this dude has been doing it for, I want to say, decades. Because I'm still assuming that the nurses that are underneath him, gross. The nurses that are working for him are like his children or something like that. I don't know. I'm not gonna dig that deep into a Hulu movie. As I say that as I've been talking about this Hulu movie for 40 minutes. Almost as long as the movie itself. But, so he's been doing this for a really long time. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, how many. This couldn't have happened, like, once in a lifetime. Like, there was a part in the movie itself where Alana is leaving and she sees the same reduction liquid. I don't know what it actually is. Reduction liquid is like a copperish looking liquid that also is inserted via syringe up the wall new. Is going into another office, like another nurse's office, possibly for another baby, possibly for another like consultation thing or whatever. But Alana is pissed, like immediately pissed. And you know, some people would be like, "Oh, that's just, you know, the postpartum and all that other stuff." No. She explicitly said throughout this entire movie that she wanted a girl. And you know, when it comes to like pregnancy and stuff, it's always a dice up. Like, you may not get what you want. It's always tough titty, said the kitty. You can pout about it all you want. When the gender reveal comes and you see blue balloons instead of pink balloons and you decide that you're going to throw a hissy fit about it, that's a problem. You shouldn't be having kids, okay? I think that you should work through your own personal issues before you start denouncing a baby's is it sex or yeah? You start denouncing a baby before it like comes out. Like, that baby is now literally swimming inside of you and you're like, I hate this baby because it's got a different set of whatever than what you originally wanted. I can understand, like, that is rough. You cannot throw a fit about that. It's always going to be a dice up. You're not always going to get what you want, okay? But I can understand her frustration when she had the choice of choosing between two boys and a girl. And she really wanted that girl. Like, so badly she wanted that girl. I think she had like a fit about wanting to keep that girl. Like, we're not talking about this. I'm keeping this girl. And then slimy husband, Adrian, tells slimy friend, the fertility doctor, that, hey, we're going to keep those twins. So obviously she doesn't want to like bond with these babies at all because she didn't want to bond with these babies. She's not gonna care about these kids as much as she would have cared for that little girl. And at some point she like has a full on snap because they took her. It's a placenta. That's what it is. They took her placenta, which had the little fetus of the female attached, and they took it back to the fertility clinic. I don't know what they were planning on doing with it. I'm sure that they were just going to discard it or whatever, chop it up, make it into hair, skin and nail pills. I don't know. The placenta, not the fetus. Don't know why I had to explain that. If you knew clearly, I wouldn't have to explain it. That's not up to me. Anyways, so she understandably snaps. She has a full-on snap. And she goes up to this fertility clinic and she's like, I need to talk to this doctor about them reducing the wrong fetus. And go on up there. eugenics nurse is like, shut the fuck up. We got like new customers and shit. So they go. So they go and they take her to the back room, try to calm her down, all the other stuff. And then she sneaks into the secret lab. It's literally labeled secret lab. I don't know why you would label a lab secret lab unless you're purposefully trying to draw attention to it. Like, you don't, like, that's me. That's me labeling a full chest of bad stuff, not bad stuff. Right? Like, you're gonna get curious, okay? It's human nature. You're gonna get curious. So Alana goes into that room, finds a full ass office, doctor's office, right? Giant fridge filled with specimens, and on this table is like the fetus and the placenta. So she freaking loses it. John walks in. He's like, oh, you gotta be grateful for what you do have instead of what you don't have. Like, this was always going to be, this was always gonna happen. Like, this is inevitable. And he was like, yeah, I'm the cereal. Part of me really thinks that they were serious with this movie. Like, a lot of it was really on the nose, but I don't think that I chuckled a single time. There wasn't a single time where I was like, huh, witty. No, it was all like, this can happen. This could happen. You have a problem like that? You really want a kid? You're going to go to a fertility clinic with the possibility of that fertility doctor not pumping you with a different donor and just, making you a human incubator. Disgusting. And, he comes out and he says it. He's like, yeah, you birthed my kids. Everybody who's coming to this fertility clinic has birthed my children. And it's always boys, and they will carry on my lineage, which is literal serial reproductive abuser behavior, as I've learned from a special TV show called Law and Order SVU. Basically, they think that they're like kings. Not even close. Dude, your name is John. Your last name is Hendel. What are you bringing to the table aside from your Aryan Nation starter kit? And I'm sorry I said that on stream, but it's very true because it's very disgusting. So, yeah, he brings, he's like, yeah, you birthed my kid. Whatever this kind of king mentality of like, yes, I am a god, I must carry on my lineage, and my lineage must only be boys so they can reproduce and we can populate the earth with more crazy ass eugenics. No! The fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? You think that way? You have that serious mentality? I need you to sit down in a quiet room, and I need you to ask yourself this question. Why? Why do I feel like I am a mini god among this earth? And why isn't my first decree to save the earth? Not repopulate the earth, because the earth don't need repopulating. There's too many people on this fucking earth. Okay? too many fucking people. You want to know how I know there's too many fucking people? Because the Earth is imploding. Earth was like, we're over capacity. We gotta get some of you guys off of this thing. And so what does it start doing? It starts shedding a lot of shit. And by shedding a lot of shit, I mean it's shedding lava, it's shedding fire, it's shedding an ozone layer, it's shedding ice, it's shedding everybody. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna clean house. No, that is not the first thing that you should think of when you're like, I want to save the world. First thing when you think about saving the world should not be, I'm going to save it with my penis. How about that? Just thought process. So yeah, understandably she freaks the fuck out. And I really like how they cut directly after she finds out all of this shit to her walking in the street covered in blood. I'm sorry, it's true. It's so true. Sorry. Had to get myself some of my tropical thunder. Somebody unfollowed me because of that. I can't help it. This is that is so funny. Oh my god. That is really funny. But anyways, I'm just gonna wrap it up as quickly as possible. So she is walking now through the street of New York, a blank street of New York, which is highly unrealistic because there's no such thing as a blank street in New York. She's covered in blood. And the reason that she's covered in blood is that she is You're right. Sorry. You know what? Just for those Proud Boys that left, I will be doing a extra special stream tomorrow, and I will wear my most e-girliest outfit, and I won't talk about anything except strawberries and Skittles. I'm totally kidding, and that is not a jab to e-girls. E-girls are truly, they make the world go round. How about I say that? And I love them. I would love to be an e-girl. I just want to know how to do their makeup. That's what I want to know how to do. Plus, I want to get like hair like them, like the long hair. But I've got like medium, like from behind I look like I got surfer boy hair because of how curly it is. Anyways, we're not gonna get into my own appearance. That's stupid. And it keeps cutting between her walking down the street and the badass Kill Bill moment that she had in that office, where she basically threw this man, this grown ass man, threw this man onto this patient chair. His nurse runs in trying to save him. She goes like full of 1-2, tries to gag her with the ultrasound wand that goes inside people. Chick gets up. Ooh. Chick gets up, says, I don't have a gag reflex, which, like, gross. But also, like, I think that was the only good joke in the entirety of this movie. Like, this movie does not have a joke in it. This movie is a joke. How about it? I would say that this movie is a joke, but at the same time, it's 1,000% serious. And, man, I can't wait for somebody to, like, clip this tomorrow and being like, Twitch streamer goes off the rails with personal manifesto against fertility clinics. I would lose my shit, man. This is what I get famous for, in the worst way. Like, oh man. Um. So yeah, and then she takes like a syringe thing of the bad liquid, the copper liquid. I don't know what it really is. I call it the bad liquid, and injects the nurse, and the nurse falls. And then she freaking, you know how some chicks climb up on one of those mechanical bulls, like both knees, like up, like legs tucked in, both knees, and then they like sidle right on the mechanical bull, and then everybody else is like, "Woo!" She does that. She does. She grabs onto this man's shoulder, like presses into this man's chest, and sidles herself up onto this man's lap, and starts walloping the shit out of him. Like 1-2 punch, 1-2 punch. And I think at one point, oh yeah, before she did all of that, she came in with a mirror, fucking walloped him with a mirror. And walloped him with a mirror. And that's how he got concussed, and that's how he ended up in the patient chair. And so she beats the shit out of his face. Pierce Brosnan still looked pretty good even after getting beat the fuck up. And she climbs off of him, and she goes over to his treasured fridge. And this is what I was saying earlier. She knocks the shit over. All of it spills out and all that other stuff. And next thing she does is she grabs all of this shit. All of her shit, like her file and everything like that. And the fetus in the bag. And she leaves. Calmly, not quickly, just calmly. She just sidles on out of there. And she's basically like, yeah, you're going to have to find a new doctor. Like, you guys are going to have to find a new doctor. And she gets home, and those babies, those twins are crying. And she has, like, this symbolic moment of, like, I'm going to let you go. And this is while the really, really old, like, I think the first production of Peter Pan, the play production of Peter Pan, the music is playing. And this is all relating back to Wendy, because Wendy is actually the name from Peter Pan. And her mother used to read her the original version of Peter Pan. It's a whole thing. So she has this symbolic moment where, like, she goes up to the window. She's holding both of these big-ass babies. Like, they look like they're 6 months already. Like, they came out of her looking 6 months old. And just kind of holds them up to the mirror, to the window. Doesn't throw them out. Just holds them up to the window. And, like, they symbolically, like, float away like the Lost Boys. You know? And I think that was her version of, like, yeah, you guys aren't mine. Like, you guys aren't mine. Like, I never wanted you guys in the first place. But her husband comes home. And her husband comes home. When her husband comes home, he is like, what are you doing? Why do you look like that? And all that other shit. Welcome to my other viewer. I am so sorry. You caught me right in the middle of my movie review for the Hulu movie False Positive. We're kind of wrapping up towards the end. So he's like, what are you doing? You're covered in blood. Like, you need... Oh, by the way, this is very spoiler rich. Second viewer. I hope you're okay with that. If you're not, please come back another time. Like, I would greatly appreciate you coming back another time. I don't want to ruin a movie that you would have thought would have been interesting to sit down and watch. I don't want to do that to you. I want us to have a good rapport. You know that? So, they, you know, she's like super calm about it. She's like, yeah, those are my babies. I know the truth. I know what happened. with, everything. I don't know who Grace is. Oh, Grace was the midwife, by the way. It's like, I know what happened with Grace. I know what happened with Wendy. I know what happened with everything. And I fucked your boy John up. Not that way, but I fucked him up, like, wallop him. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. Still trying to gaslight her. Like, she has the file in hand. She has Wendy with her. She has everything now. And he's still trying his darndest to be like, oh, honey, you don't know what you're talking about. You got mommy brain. And that's okay, baby. It's not. Okay? It's absolutely not. Like, she is awake. She's woke. Okay, let me just say that. She is freaking woke. Which I guess is kind of funny. Because didn't Alana say woke a lot on Broad City? So she gives him both of these big ass babies. I'm telling you, these babies are huge as hell. Like, if that size baby came out of a regular woman's wahoo, I would have to buy her a full ass steak. I would have to buy her a 5-course meal for that shit. And I know that it happens because I think I've seen something about like a 15-pound baby coming out of a woman. No. None of that sounds like no. Anyways, getting past that, gives him both of these big ass babies. He's like, go. Get out of here. Leave. I don't want to see your face anymore. And she takes this tiny little fetus. She goes and sits down in the middle of this apartment. And this is kind of where I was like, like, she's having a serious mental break now. Like, I understood before that she was going to have a mental break, but this is way past vengeance and more towards the concerning because you don't know what she's going to do next. She's got the little tiny thingy, sits down and tries nursing it. And that's how the movie ends. Now, I know it's not what you thought was going to happen. I don't know what you thought was going to happen. I don't know what your expectations were by the end of it. All I got to say is that I was none too pleased when those credits started rolling. And my mom got up and she called me by my full name. And she was like, no. You watch some crazy ass shit. What was the thought process, Alana, seeing as you were one of the producers? Tell me. I want to know. I want to see you justify the last 15 minutes of that movie. Actually, try and justify the entire movie to me. You know why? You calling it false positive should have just been called gaslight pregnancy. Seriously. Should have been called gaslight pregnancy. It could have been a short, to be honest. Jail time. Sailor T, you were absolutely correct. Correct. It could have been called... It could have been a 15-minute short. I would have watched that shit. What is that wonky ass shit that Hulu does sometimes? Like, you know the movies that are set around, like... They're like horror movies, but they're set around... Right. Because it was a real positive pregnancy test. I'm trying to think of The Hulu series, is it even a series where they base horror films, like short horror films, around holidays? There was one for like Valentine's Day. Saw that one. I saw the New Year's Eve one because it had Carly Chaikin from Mr. Robot in it. And there were a lot of movies like that. That's the kind of movie that I was thinking that was going to be, where it was like just enough cheese in it where it could have been like, okay, so I don't need to be terrified about this situation at all. Yes, Into the Dark. That's exactly correct. Taylor T, I really appreciate you helping me out with that. No, you just decided, hey, this shit's real. And this shit will continue to be real. And they didn't even like... The funniest part is that they didn't even like add in any like for more help into fertility abuse and stuff like that. No. Movie end. Movie credits. I feel like I wasted a whole ass hour and a half on a movie that was suggested to me by several commercials. What's even funnier is that I think one of the scenes in the trailer doesn't even happen in the movie. Or maybe I'm just not remembering it all the way anymore, but there is a... That's basically what I wanted with this review. I wanted you to feel so drained and so lost after listening to my review that you too have to sit down and think about this shit. You, me, my mother, everybody else who's probably going to listen to the VOD of this and has to come back to this shit later or whatever. I might edit this shit. I might not. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Right? But I just wanted to let you know that do not spend an hour and a half of your life on the movie False Positive unless you want to feel worse about everything else that's going on in the world. It's just another thing to add to it. Wow. White men get away with everything, huh? Now, this is usually where hold on. Okay. Sorry, I'm back. What was I saying? This is usually where Noel Miller comes in and it's like, thank you for sponsoring this. Whatever. What did you just say? He said, hey, things are shit. Let me watch a movie to make me feel better. And the movie said, that's exactly what the movie said. The movie said, oh, you wanted to sit down and, watch a movie with your food like you usually do because, hey, it's time to chill out. Nope. We're going to make you anxious. So anxious, in fact, you're going to regret eating your dinner. That's how anxious you're going to get. Seriously, I had got like the tummy knots going on. Bad, horrible. But I think that's all that I got for this stream. I'm so sorry. Kind of grateful for you, Sailor T, to hop in. Otherwise, I would have been talking to nobody for a really long time. And to everybody who joined, and obviously to you who stayed, I would greatly appreciate that. I don't know if we'll do this kind of like stand-up stream again, because as much as I enjoyed standing up and, you know, being able to walk around and move around and hold this microphone because it makes me feel important, I would rather go back to playing video games, you know? Maybe I could incorporate this like a standing stream, where I'm standing like this, and then go like that. What is it? Someone needs to tell Kenny JD. That's a good idea. I think you should get on that because you knew her before me. Oh, thanks. Look, this setup is not a lot. I am literally standing against my plain ass bedroom wall. Yeah, I think that we'll be back again maybe tomorrow. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but at the same time, I've got like a really big itch, and I say itch, and as soon as I say itch, I got itch on my rib. I got a huge itch for playing more Death Stranding. Yeah, because Death Stranding is a beautiful game. And Mads Mikkelsen is in it, and Mads Mikkelsen is gorgeous. I will not argue with anybody about that. He is beautiful, and he deserves everybody's attention because he can sing, he can dance, and he can act like a cannibal. But that's all that I got for today. Thank you. Once again, everybody joined, everybody who stayed. Sailor T for commenting, keeping me company, letting me read your shit. For updates on when I start streaming, I should really make that into a button on my stream deck. Follow supefletch on Twitter. You can also follow supefletch on Instagram, but on Instagram, I only do cosplay. So, that's a good thought. I don't have anything else to say. Don't waste your time for that movie. Now I gotta go and confront my mother outside and see if she's okay, because sitting quietly after watching a movie like that is some crazy ass shit. Alright. Until tomorrow, good. Bye.